Hello again, YouTubers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I am your host, the Board Game Captain, and today I'm going to be reviewing junk art. Now, this particular copy of junk art was one of Lynn's purchases from Gen Con this year. And let me tell you a little bit about it. Now, junk art is a dexterity-based game. It plays for 2 to 6 players, and this is a fairly quick game, even though you usually play 3 rounds of it to have a complete game. It plays in around a half an hour or less. I first want to draw attention to the packing material. If you've watched some of my videos, you know I do this on occasion when I feel that a publisher has gone a bit above and beyond when it comes to their presentation, and this is, in my opinion, one of those cases. So as you can see, very nice cover art, and the box is all wood, solid wood. Beautiful, beautiful box. It's very thematic that the box is all wood because the pieces are all wood, which I'm going to show you now. The top of the box actually slides off. It has a slide in and out sort of mechanism. It slides off, and I will show you some of the contents here now. You've got rule books, which actually this came with rule books in half a dozen different languages, which we didn't need. We only required English, so I recycled the rest. Now, inside of the box, you have pieces of 4 different colors. This game, by the way, can play with 2 to 6 players. The colors are not required for specifically a certain player is a certain color. That's not necessary, so this is not limited to 4 people. You can play this game up to 6 people. Now, just to show you a few of the pieces, this is some of the blue pieces I've grabbed here. These are solid wood pieces for making your junk art during the game. The game plays as a dexterity type game or a party-based dexterity game. Now, this is this game. The closest thing I can kind of compare it to, which just about everybody should know, is Jenga. But obviously, with pieces like this, it's not that similar to Jenga. I mean, when's the last time you pulled a Jenga piece out of your tower that looked like this? But there is some feeling of it being similar to Jenga because you make junk art by balancing these pieces on top of each other, and the whole balance aspect does have some interesting similarities to Jenga. It definitely draws a comparison. Now, the game also comes with a little tape measure, which is important for certain modes of play. You have tokens for scoring, these nice little wooden discs, white and black. You have the bases. There are 6 of these little bases. Each player gets 1 of these, and you have to build your junk art upon it. So here's the base for your junk art. And it also comes with a handy deck of cards. And that's basically all the components right there. They all fit in this nice wooden box. The wooden box, when you buy it, comes inside of a cardboard box sleeve that you can just recycle because it's not necessary, and the wooden box is gorgeous. Okay, so let's go to the table, and I will teach you how to play junk art. I'll run you through a mock game, and then we'll come back, and I'll give you my thoughts on it and my final review and my score. Right. Okay, so here I have a setup for a 4-player game of junk art. Now, I have played a few games of this, and they've all been 4-player games specifically, so I decided to set it up that way. So here we can see the bases are set out for each of the 4 players. We have a couple others over here. So then there is a pile of all of the pieces that are going to be used for the junk art in the middle of the table. There is a tape measure because occasionally the winner of a round is decided by the highest piece of junk art. These are the scoring discs. They count. You use them whenever you score points at the end of a round. This is the junk art deck, which we will be drawing from to decide what pieces we need to take for our junk art. And up here, we have the 3 cities that our junk artists will be visiting on their world tour. So now, the first city to the left is Pisa. So once we see what our first city is, we're going to take the rule book here. There's the rule book. And the rule book has pages dedicated to each of the cities. So we turn to Pisa. And on Pisa, it is a 2 to 6 player city. So obviously it was included in our deck because we're playing 4 players. The goal is to not be eliminated. At the exhibition end, a player has the exhibition ends when a player has 2 or more fallen pieces. To set up Pisa, players do not have an individual base, so we don't use the base, and instead our 2 bases are placed next to each other in the middle of the table with an easy reach of all players. Then we deal to the table 1 fewer face-up cards than there are players, and place the rest in a face-down deck. So we have 4 players, so we're going to get 3 face-up cards. So here are our face-up cards for this city. Then play continues in the direction of play until all players have been played. At that point, replenish the cards on the table as you did during the setup and continue with the player whose turn it was. You are eliminated as soon as you have 2 or more fallen pieces. At the end of the exhibition, all players that were not eliminated receive 3 fans, which the discs over there, the scoring discs, are what you use as your fans. So the first player is going to go, and they're going to get to choose one of these to start the junk art piece with. Now in this one, we're doing a shared piece of junk art. So I'm going to look here, and I'm going to say, all right, well, I want that one. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to say next. And then this one gets discarded. So then the next player is going to say, oh, well, I'm not getting stuck with that horrible round thing, so I'm going to take this here. So they're going to find that. They're going to play it there. And player 3 is like, well, thanks, guys. And they have to place this somewhere on the base. Now, they can't touch the other pieces of the base except with this piece. So they can do something sneaky, like push it over and put it there. And say, ha! Then player 4 gets 3 new cards. And they say, ooh, well, that one looks pretty easy, so I'm going to go with that. There it is. They're going to place it there. Then player 1 comes back around to is like, oh, well, this is getting ugly. What shall I do? I'm going to take that one there. And place it like so. Player 2 comes back around and sees that and says, okay, I can do that. I'm going to put that right there. Then player 3 gets a new draw of 3 cards and continues on. And player 3 decides to be a smartass and says, ooh, I'm gonna balance. Oh! Player 3 lost a piece. So now you keep going. They've used their piece and they tried to leave it there and they dropped one. Goes on to player 4 and they keep going. This keeps going around the table for a Pisa round until someone loses 2 pieces. Now, if you lose 2 pieces, you're the one who loses. Everybody else gets 3 fans, represented by the discs, and you move on to the next city. And then you would start, you get rid of these, and you read what the next city's rules are. Now, the next city in this case that we drew was Indianapolis. So I go back to the rule book, and I take a look. So what does Indianapolis say? Now, Indianapolis says, deal each player, the goal is to have the most placed pieces and a bonus for having the tallest structure. So the tape measure would come in on this. Now, the exhibition ends when all cards have been played. So to set it up, you deal each player a deck of 10 face-down junk art cards, and any remaining junk art cards are not used. So in this case, we would reshuffle the deck, and everybody would get a deck of 10 junk art cards. I'm just going to cut it real quick. So, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's a deck for 1 player. Then, any remaining junk art cards would not be used, to be removed. Then, when the start player says go, all players simultaneously flip over the top card from their deck, and each player must find the matching piece and place it onto their structure. Once you have played your piece, you shout, done. The turn ends, and all but one player, the turn ends when all but one player has said done. So one person doesn't get, this is actually a real-time city. Not all the cities real-time. The last one was turn-based. But in this particular city, you do this real-time. So everybody's looking for their piece. I'm looking for the green donut. I place it here and I say done. The last person to be able to say done doesn't get to place their piece. So only 3 people are going to get to place their piece on their junk card. Then you continue as such until all cards have been played, all 10 rounds. Fallen pieces are returned to the supply without any effect. When all cards have been played, the exhibition ends. Players look at their structures and score fans according to how many pieces they actually have on their structures. So if you manage to get all 10 pieces on your structure, you get 5 fans. If you get 7 to 9 pieces, 3 fans. 5 to 6 pieces, 1 fan. And the player who built the tallest structure gets 1 bonus fan. So now we would go through this, and again, you get your number of points or fans based on how many of your pieces you actually managed to get on your structure. So in this case, I flip the next one and say, oh, quickly, I got to get this going, but I want to keep it balanced. So I'm going to place it sideways so I can put something on it. It's done. And then the next one, I flip and I say, oh, ooh, this is getting tough. How am I going to do that? I'm going to put that on the base also. I'm going to put that there. Because I don't want to put it on top of here. I'll say, done. And then, oh, that's horrible. I gotta use it. So there's no room for it on the base. So I put it there. Done. So it looks like I'm going towards having the tallest structure here, but these are highly unstable pieces, and these are going to be a problem later in this round. So then I get this, and now here's where the problem may come in, except they have a lovely little hole in the center of this piece here, which I'm going to use like so. I'm going to lose the piece. Oh, no. And I'm in real trouble there. And this round would continue until the end. And then we'd play the 3rd round. Once we've played all 3 rounds, we figure out who has the most fans, and whoever has the most fans is the winner. So that's the gist of how you play junk art. And there's a it's definitely a lot of lighthearted nature to this game. Let's go back to the table, and I will tell you my thoughts on it after having played a few games of this. And I will give you my full review, give you how many stars, and then we'll get a second opinion. Okay, well, welcome back. So, now, first thing I want to draw attention to, I want to give a bit of a shout out to the guys over at Pretzel Games. I forgot to mention that this game was made by Pretzel Games. Let me show you their logo here. That was my bad in the first part of the video. Now, when we went to the Pretzel Games booth to pick this game up, and just a fun little note, the guys at Pretzel Games were giving out at Gen Con a bag of Snyder's pretzels with every purchase. Now that just put a smile on my face, and Lynn really enjoyed eating her bag of Snyder's pretzels. She was very excited to have a bag of Snyder's pretzels. It's the little things sometimes that make your customers happy. So I also want to draw attention to the fact that I was a bit trepidatious about Lynn buying this game. There are 2 key phrases in describing this game that fill me with a bit of dread. The first one is dexterity-based game. I've had some bad experiences with those. And the bigger one, though, is real-time. They've got some real-time elements on certain rounds, as we showed you in showing you some of the cities. Now, I've had some bad experiences with real-time games, especially real-time games that use a sand timer for the real-time portions of the game. Everybody's furiously trying to do as much as they can in the real time, and then somebody goes, oh, look, the sand timer's out. When did it run out? And nobody knows because everybody was busy doing their portion of playing the game. And this isn't like that at all. This does, when it has the real-time rounds, it does them in a really great way. Like you saw with that one particular city that had the real-time element, everybody shouts, done! The last person to have shouted done or didn't get to shout done just doesn't get to place their piece. So it actually does the real-time element well. Now, not every city is real-time. That's the interesting thing. The rules change significantly from city to city. A lot of the cities are turn-based. Some of them you're building one giant piece of junk art in the middle of the table, where others you're building your own piece of junk art on your side of the table, and you're going to have to compare it to the other people to see how many points you get at the end of the city. Even though I was so filled with dread, I mean, I wound up loving this game. I think this game is a lot of fun. It's a great game. Very enjoyable. We've played it with 4 people at a time on each occasion where we have played it, and it plays really great with 4 people. I think this is a great game for a larger number of people. It says you can play it 2 to 4, 2 to 6. You can play it up to 6 players. But I can't see myself dragging this game out for only 2 people. I think this is a game you want 4 to 6 people to play. This is like a party game. This is a game where either you're playing with kids and you're laughing it up, or you're playing with adults and you're drinking beer and laughing it up while you're playing, as long as you don't spill your beer. So on BoardGameGeek.com, I gave this game 7 out of 10 stars, which means I liked this game a lot, and I will play this anytime someone else asks. And I have a sneaking suspicion Lynn is going to ask to play this game a lot because she seemed to really enjoy it herself. So now, if you like high-quality games that are going to last you years and years and years because the boxes and the pieces are really well constructed, buy this game. If you like light-hearted, dexterity-based games that evoke spontaneous bouts of laughter, buy this game. This is my opinion. This is a fun game. But let's get a second opinion. Lynn, how many stars out of 10 would you give to Junk Art?
9.
9. Now that is a really high score. That is borderline perfection from Lynn. And I kind of expected that because I know she really enjoyed this game. It was one of her picks. She was excited about getting and trying this game, and she's quite enjoyed playing it so far. So there you have it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Lynn gave it a 9 out of 10. This is generally a 2 thumbs up game from the 2 of us. So I hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any comments, if you'd like to tell me other games you think I should review, if you'd like to tell me anything you think I could do to improve my videos, or anything you think I should change, or you'd like to point out anything you think I'm doing well, go ahead and write it down below. If you want to see more videos like this, please, please, please like and subscribe. Until next time, game on.